Doctor, look.
Stand aside, nurse. I'm Dr. Homebrew.
Stand clear.
Everybody, welcome to the show. This is Dr. Homebrew. The month is May. The time is now.
Month of May.
We're here to talk homebrew and be doctors. That's pretty much what we do. So, you know, if you feel a little pressure, just relax. Everything will be fine.
Just cough twice for me, and well, we're all professionals here.
And we'll let nature take its course, you know, and that's just kind of what happens. I was making up inappropriate lyrics to the theme song earlier, and I had myself laughing at my own joke.
That was wildly inappropriate.
which
and wildly just you, man.
It was wildly hilarious.
Why are you not on, Brian? Can you gotta push the button. You gotta push the button.
Which that? Oh, the one that's...
Push that button.
Oh, yes. Hi.
I know how to push Brian's button.
I am the least experienced of the Doctor's Homebrew. Can you tell?
That's true. I can tell.
I'm still the new guy.
You're trying to put your putter in your driver slot or something.
Don't ever do that. That's going to get you some time in the hospital.
That's true.
Did you know that it is currently May 29th, 2019?
What?
And our first show was released on May 16th, 2013?
So
do some math.
I can't.
Seems like
I'm too
special.
tired.
So that's 6 years and a handful of days?
6 years of Dr. Homebrew. Look at us, huh?
Hey, man. Cheers.
Look at us. And what are we doing to celebrate our 6-year anniversary judging?
We're going to bore our listeners with a whole nother episode of just more of the same.
Yes.
That's what we do, man.
The white.
What do you want to move?
Move the white.
This?
Yes.
Move the white.
This. Move the white thing.
Ambassadors of... Okay.
Thank you.
My thermos?
It's all up in my shot. I couldn't remember the word.
Okay. Thermos is very hard. It's a new word. It's a relatively new word. It just kind of came around a couple years ago. So
all I need is my thermos.
I got you. It's hard. Words are hard.
Is talking about beer like dancing about architecture, like that famous comparison people make, or do people really enjoy listening to us talk about beer we're sitting here drinking and having a good time with?
That's a good question, Brian. And
put it out to the chat room. Let's see.
Let's see what the chat says.
I guess I should log into the chat or something.
You should, because I'm not.
I don't know, man. I mean, usually we have like one or two people in here because we don't really give anybody a heads up at all
guess what?
on when the show is. So
right now,
I just posted on Facebook to my friends like 45 minutes ago that I'm going live at about 8. So hey, we might have a listener.
Maybe. Well, look, there's 2 people in the chat currently, but whatever, man. This is podcasts now. You know what I mean? We're no longer the bastion of live internet radio. We're just a podcast like everybody else.
We're in a pod.
That's how it works. Today on the show, Brian, what do we have? We have an
American Pale Ale.
We have an American Pale Ale, and
we also have a Pivo Pils clone.
Yeah. Now is that like a German Pils? Or
it is,
what's the style guidelines for that?
I would call it like an Americanized Czech Pils, or maybe a little. Yeah, it's got elements of German and Czech, I think, in it. It's got the German hop kind of as what's that one called?
The Sapphire.
The Sapphire, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's Matt Brittleson kind of amping up the German style in a distinctly California way.
Nice. I love it. I am drinking a 21st Amendment Hell or High Watermelon wheat beer that is brilliantly clear.
Nice.
And I love it.
Since he calls it Pivo, I was thinking to check, yeah. But it's definitely an Americanized European Pils.
Yeah, with like do they dry hop Pivo? I forget.
Yeah.
Yes, they do.
They do, okay. Because we do have a dry hopped version of this. And it's a differentiated, right? So... Why would I wonder? We'll talk to Brandon. Is that who we're going to have on first? You want to have Brandon on first?
Yeah, let's talk to Brandon. I think he's
do that.
East Coast dude, so we always try to get them on early.
Yeah, man. And how do people get on this show, Brian? Because we do need to put the call out. We do need some folks.
Please email me at brian@thebrewingnetwork.com. That's Brian spelled the correct way with an I. And when you get an email address...
It's not a matter of a correct way. It's the only way. Why would you ever spell Brian with anything but an I?
What's your email address going to be? Shar? I don't know.
That new guy.
I was first, so I got it.
Yeah, I think BS would be good. Do you get a lot of BS jokes, Brian Shar? I'm sure you do.
Less than you would think, frankly.
I'm sort of disappointed, honestly.
I'm not, but...
Well, that Brian, he's just a bunch of BS.
No.
I wonder if Brandon gets that. Like, Brandon with an E or with an O.
Brandon spells his name with an E.
Yeah.
And I have a good friend that spells his the same way. Actually, a bandmate of mine from a little San Francisco band called Wish Inflicted. Look up wishinflicted.com if you want to hear my music.
Wow, we're doing plugs, personal plugs. Brian Sharp, do you have anything to plug? You were just in Vegas, right?
As a matter of fact, I got a couple things to plug. Yes, I was just in Vegas for Electronic Daisy Carnival. Super fun, great music festival.
Wait, what?
Yeah, it's this. My girlfriend loves electronic dance music, and there's the biggest festival in the world is in Vegas. For 3 if you guys could see Jason essentially crying here away from the mic, I have never seen him like this.
And I wasn't until I looked in the booth and saw Bev, and she's just actually imploded right now.
She's actually face palming right now as I'm telling this story.
I can't imagine you, Shar, at an electronic dance festival.
It was actually super fun. I wasn't sure what to expect.
I actually will pay to see that. Like, take me with you next time.
I have some photos. I'll show you later.
Yeah, hopefully video too.
It's total sensory overload for like 3 nights. It's great.
We need to do a documentary on Brian Shar going to EDM festival. Can you imagine?
I am entirely in favor of this.
Oh, my God. So,
just grab a camera, man.
Are you like a Burning Man guy now?
It's like a different thing, but I would go. I'm kind of curious. I've always been curious about Burning Man.
Did you do like the delicately put like the
full experience?
The music enhancing substances at the thing, or were you?
There were many people that were engaging in such activities, and you could tell because they were the ones that were sitting down at about 4:00 in the morning and like, "Are you okay?" And I'm fine. Okay, because I'm old, so I would generally be that guy. I was like,
care
"Are you
for people.
okay?" Because if someone's kind of by themselves, I'm just kind of like, if you're not okay, I should probably call somebody.
I mean, I'm the dad at the EDM party.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna get you safe, brother. We're gonna.
But yes,
talk to me.
There were certainly many opportunities for those who wanted to enhance the experience to do so.
Number one, I knew that question wouldn't be too loaded because Brian's a lawyer and he could get out of it if he wouldn't incriminate himself. And number two, that's a good answer. Number three, I would be the exact same as you, the guy like questioning people, but really just making them feel highly uncomfortable when they're trying to come down off a substance. Are you okay, dude? You got green coming out of your ear? Are you fine? Are you okay?
You're jumping off of that building. Are you okay? But no, I stayed with my friend John Kissinger from my homebrew club, Words of Wisdom, for the night before and the night after we were there. And he was telling me how much, his new homebrew club, Snafu in Vegas, are big fans of Dr. Homebrew, and just wanted to give him and Snafu a shout-out. So thanks for listening, and thanks for being fans. Really appreciate that.
Awesome. Hey, and if, Snafu, if you want to fly us out to Vegas, and we'll do a live Brewing Network Dr. Homebrew show from your club meeting. Yeah. We will do that, but it's not in the summer. Bev's shaking her head. You don't want a free trip to Vegas, Bev?
I hate Las Vegas.
So do I, but they have like machine gun shooting ranges, and I'm kind of curious about that.
Way to crap all over my shout out there.
I'm sorry. I actually, as I was saying that, I was like, this is the wrong thing to say, because I am not a fan of Las Vegas.
You can
not everyone has to like everything.
You can hate Vegas, but you can like the people in Vegas.
Totally.
Yeah.
It was not my bag, baby.
Baby.
I watched Austin Powers this weekend.
Well, that was not clumsily delivered at all.
Well, we have the book, Vegas is My Bag, Baby, signed by Bevo.
Oh, God. So, and also, I wanted to give one other quick not shout out, but notification to people.
Shar's the Oprah of shout out.
Shout out, Shar.
I'm taking over your show here for a couple of minutes.
Hey, it's our show.
My homebrew club, Words of Wisdom, WORTS of wisdom.org.
Should have a Z instead of an S, but yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, aside from the fact that the club is like 30 years old, and it's just always been that way. It is what it is. We got rid of the wizard thing.
There you go.
It's still very polarizing in our club. But
I
we
doubt it.
have like a
The
yearly
Artistic Brewers of America. I really like the Wizard. Anyway, go ahead.
We'll go into the Wizard story some other time. We do a competition in conjunction with San Mateo firefighters.
Okay.
And it's not for muscular dystrophy. It's against muscular dystrophy. No, it's for muscular dystrophy.
I don't know. You get good parking.
For fighting.
Exactly.
Yeah. It benefits
exactly.
the fight against.
Exactly. It benefits thank you, Beverly. It benefits the fight against muscular dystrophy.
Wow.
And the firefighters
Nice.
do this chili cook-off, and it's a big thing. It's a huge event in San Mateo. Take over this huge park. And we do a competition in conjunction with that, a standard BJCP sanctioned comp. You can send 3 bottles and do that. You can send a 4th bottle and participate in the firefighters' best of show, where the firefighters kind of choose people's choice, what's their favorite, and you get
cool.
like a really nice prize for that. So, if anyone's interested in sending beer in for that, we'd love to have entries from anyone that would like to participate. Go to wordsofwisdom.org, WORTS of wisdom.org.
Okay, it's not regional.
Button.
You can be
anywhere.
anywhere.
Anywhere in the U.S., anywhere in the world if you want. I guess if you want to send your beer from Chile, that'd be super cool. But I'm not sure what it's going to be like when it gets here.
Chilean beer for the chili cook-off?
That would be, I didn't even think about that joke, but that's because I'm that advanced. I'm so far ahead of myself.
That's
I was making that joke before I even knew it was funny. But yes, go to the website. There's a button for it. There's a link. Go ahead and click, and we'd love to have anyone that wants to participate.
Cool. I like it, man.
Right on.
I like it a lot.
The Horts have done some good stuff over the years. You guys did a Dickens Fair thing for a long while. Are they still doing that?
I wish we did. Long story short, it's one of those things that just kind of, it was fun for a while and then just kind of
fizzled
out. But Dickens Fair was really a fun comp.
Yeah, I mean,
what's the Dickens?
Break out your Christmas ales and
it was just limited to British styles.
You assault your wife when you come home early or something. Like, what's the Dickens festival? You get cholera.
Yeah, exactly. You get all the cholera you could eat for an entrance fee. Dickens Fair is like Renaissance Fair, but it's at Cow Palace.
Oh, right,
and it's
right.
like at Christmas time, and they have part of it's shopping. You can like buy a bunch of Christmas themed stuff.
Ilana's gone to it.
Yeah, I mean, I know the Dickens Fair, but I just thought the homebrewing thing was a separate thing.
The spirit of Charles Dickens usually shows up and floats through the hall.
Exactly. Actually, there is the guy with the who's Dickens's partner. God, what's his name? I forget. Marlowe. Marlowe. You see him carrying all of the chains and stuff. These are the chains I bore in life.
No.
And Charles Dickens, a guy dressed like Dickens, helps judge Best of Show. But that was years ago. That was a good cop.
All right,
bring it back.
Cool.
Bring it back.
Well, we got Brandon on the line here. Brandon, are you there? Brandon.
Where?
Brandon, I cannot hear you, my friend.
Hello.
Now, playing the part of Brandon will be our friend Kevin. No.
Well, Brandon, if you can hear this, call me back, homie. In the meantime, boys, let's get the beer, huh?
Yeah, we can start talking about it while we're waiting to talk to him.
So he brought, 2 versions of the same beer. This is the dry hop pills, and that's the regular. Okay, so we judged the regular clone, and looking forward to chatting with him about it here. I'll crack these bad boys.
Yeah, please crack them all. Well, let's give him a call again. Why not, right?
Okay.
I'm excited because Pivo's a real good beer. But you know what? I haven't seen it in the stores in a while. I don't know if they've pulled back production or whatever. Brandon.
For a second.
Hello.
Hey. Brandon, what's up, dude?
How you doing?
Good. How you doing, man? Can you hear us all right?
I'm well. I can hear you fine.
Perfect. We're pouring your beers right now, man. Thanks a lot for sending in all this stuff. I really appreciate it.
No, you're welcome. Thanks for tasting them.
Hell yeah, man. Do I get one, Brian?
No.
Motherfuckers are going to leave me high and dry up in this house? It's been my own show. Can you believe this, Brandon? They're leaving me dry on my own show.
Well, Justin made us spread out so far. He put Brian way the hell over there.
Appreciate it.
Across the room. And
I moved over here last show because I like this mic better.
He likes that mic, yeah.
All right, Brandon. Well, hey, man, how long have you been homebrewing, and have you tried this before? This Pivo Pills. Why are these so different?
I have not tried it before, and I've been homebrewing for about 10 years or so now.
Okay.
Is this the same beer or 2 different batches?
It looks like very different beers. One looks like a rosé, and the other looks like a Pilsner. So we opened the dry hop Pilsner and the Pilsner.
Yeah.
They are the exact same beer, the exact same batch. The only difference is the one that says dry hop on it. I dropped about 6 ounces of Saphir hops down in the keg for a couple of days.
Huh.
Yeah.
Why do you think it has that weird rosé color to it, Brian?
Could be oxidation.
Think so?
Yeah. Brandon, are you just really tired, or have you had like 10 of these before? You sounded like really tired there in that last couple of sentences.
No, I'm good. I'm good.
All right, as long as you're good, man, that's cool. That's cool.
I know it's a little later there. We're playing. Yeah.
That's right. Brian Cooper, do me a favor, dude. Let's start Brandon off here with his Pivo clone.
The Pivo Pils clone. Yeah. So we cracked the non-dry hop version of this. The fill was a bit high. I noticed it was just like maybe a quarter inch from the top, almost, or a little, a third of an inch from the top. Pretty full, but it still had a nice hiss. It didn't seem to hurt it. I guess some people are paranoid about oxygen, but as long as you cap on foam, it's just going to be CO2 in that headspace. Aroma-wise, it got a lightly spicy hop in there with a little bit of herbal, clean, lightly toasty and bready and kind of cracker-like malt. There's a lot of malt here. No obvious esters, cleanly lagered, it seemed like. There was a light sulfury note behind the hops there, but I didn't get any diacetyl or acetaldehyde in it. Color-wise, rosé beer is an interesting way to put it. It's this deep, kind of orangey pink gold color.
Yeah, slightly
like a really deep
brownish
deep
rust,
gold,
though,
not amber in any sense, but yeah, just reddish orange and kind of pink looking. Brilliantly clear. It was nice and clear. You can see right through it. A low white head dissipated fairly quickly after pouring. It just dropped to a little collar there. Mostly fine bubbles, though. Head didn't really form very well, but so I dropped a point for that. But flavor-wise, I'm getting a nice, a fairly crisp-tasting beer. The malt comes in with a toasty edge to it, which is a little odd and appeals to me, but medium-low, spicy floral hop. Again, very crisp with a fairly dry finish, and there's a little hint of sweetness in the background. It's not completely bone dry. Definitely balanced slightly to the hop, but there's a firm malt behind that, pushing it up. Clean lager ferment profile. It seems like, there's no big esters poking out here, nothing really weird. It seems like you did a decent job with the lagering. The hops are lingering. The bitterness is pretty low and out of the way. And again, with that supporting kind of bready malt coming through in the aftertaste, as you take a sip, you get that crisp and the hop, and then it fades out, and the hop kind of drifts off, and you're left with a little malty finish that just kind of dries off your tongue after a while. I was trying to decide if the water seemed to, maybe it was so crisp, maybe it seemed like the water was just a bit minerally, but it's actually okay. But I'd be interested to know what you did with your water on this one. Sometimes using a little too much sulfate, or it doesn't seem like it's over-treated water in any stretch, but it's just there's a little mineral tinge to it maybe. Mouthfeel wise, I'm getting medium body, medium low carbonation. Could push that. It's crisp and refreshing. No astringency, no warmth, and not very creamy. But yeah, overall, it's a fairly good, clean Pils. Kind of on the American interpretation side of it, but very flavorful and clean. I thought it was just a bit dark for the intended clone, especially. And the maltiness was a bit of a curveball to me as well. It really shouldn't come across as strongly toasty and malty. So you might look at adjusting the malt bill on this and pull back the specialties and maybe push up the Sapphire late hop on that, because it wasn't coming through quite hoppy enough to me. And then we'll talk about. I'll let Brian talk about this version first, and then we'll comment on the dry hopped version.
Okay.
I gave the beer a 34. I thought it was very good. It's generally close, but I'm wondering too, with the color here, yeah, maybe there is some oxidation coming in. It's not super papery, but
well, that's the dry hop version.
Something a little weird.
Is that the dry hop version?
No, this is the plain.
Oh, really? Oh, geez.
This is the one we judged. Yeah, the pink one.
Yeah.
So.
All right, so
all right, Brian Shaw, go for it.
Yeah, I largely echo what Brian Cooper said. The aroma is initially hoppy. The hop aroma is floral and kind of at a medium-high level. Not quite as jasmine as the character of Pivo Pils. I mean, Pivo Pils to me is like a very strongly distinctive jasmine character to it, and the aroma of this wasn't quite that character. There's no diacetyl or off aromas. Pilsner malt is noticeable, a little toasted malt. As it warms, I get a little blueberry / mosaic type character out of this. But again, this is a clone beer, so we're kind of judging how close it comes to Pivo. I gave it a 7 out of 12 for that. This beer, as far as appearance goes, this beer is crystal clear. I should have deducted points for not being hazy, right? I mean, everything's hazy these days. But this is crystal clear. You can probably read through this thing. The head is low but very persistent. But the color is that kind of golden brown rosé, really not... compare it to the dry hop version, it's markedly several degrees Lovibond darker than the other one. So it's not... The color's darker than expected. So I gave this 2 out of 3. Flavor-wise, flavor's initially malty. Get pills, but also some toasty, possibly even it came across like two-row malt. Was lacking the jasmine hop flavor of the Pivo. Did get some floral hop flavor, but overall didn't get a lot of hop flavor out of this. Pleasantly malty, a little caramelly. It's lightly grainy, very well attenuated. The toastiness kind of takes it further away from Pivo. And what's interesting, Brian, is I had like a little bit left in my glass from judging before the show. Mm-hmm. So some inside baseball here. We judge before the show, and then we come back and open up another bottle and have some fresh sample for the show. When I went back and smelled the sample that we had poured out maybe an hour ago, it was noticeably and distinctly cardboard to me. Oh. It's really this is a much warmer sample. It's really, really cardboard. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I continue to get that, and I think we talked about oxidation. That, to me, this color difference is so marked. I got to believe something, and we'll talk about this later. I've got to believe something went wrong in your packaging when you got this in the bottle, because this is the same. As you were saying, the only difference is one was dry hopped and one wasn't.
That shouldn't change the color at all.
Exactly. Yeah. The only difference I could think of is something happened, and it's across two different bottles. Something happened in your bottling of the non-dry hopped one that gave it this oxidized aroma and flavor.
Never mind.
And the darker color.
Yeah. I keep confusing the two. So I was like, I got another version of the dry hop. But
you're fine.
Yeah.
So I get this 10 out of 20 for flavor. Mouthfeel, 5 out of 5. Body's medium to high carbonation. No warming, no astringency. Exactly what you'd expect for mouthfeel. Overall impression, this is a tasty beer that is generally pretty well executed, aside from the oxidation that seems to be entirely in the packaging. I gave it a 5 for overall impression and a 29 overall, primarily because when you're judging this clone beer category, you're judging how well you hit that mark of making the clone, and I just wasn't quite getting that jasmine and that character out of this clone that I get out of the original, and I've had probably way too much of the original. Frankly, it's really good.
It's a really nice summer beer. Yeah, I can see why I would want to clone it.
Yeah, it really is. And in terms of what I would do different next time, definitely try to control your oxidation on the cold side as best as you can. And then to the extent I haven't had the dry hopped one yet. And I'm not sure what your hop bill is, but Firestone Walker talks about Saphir as being the hop that is used for flavor and aroma in this. So generally, try to get your most fresh and best sourced Saphir that you can.
Yeah, and this has 6 ounces of the Saphir in it. He said so. Yeah, wow. This is going to be more.
And that's a lot, and it's weird.
He sent the recipe along, and I forgot it at home. But Brandon, maybe you can hit us with that recipe real fast.
The recipe is just 100% environment two-row pills. It's pretty much based off of Brendelson's comments on the session from a few years ago when he was talking about Pivo pills. I believe it was Magnum. It was definitely dry hop with Saphir. But that's really about it. Magnum for the dry hop, or for the bittering, Spalt at 5 minutes, and Saphir dry hop for 5 days.
So you're out in Pennsylvania. Do you get Pivo pills out there?
We do not, and this is one of the reasons why I'm trying to brew off of that recipe is to try it out.
Yeah, I didn't think it made it out that far.
Yeah. Now I had sent more than just a Pilsner in, and with your color comments, kind of had me wondering if maybe this was mixed up with the IPA I sent, because that does have
Definitely
a fair amount of caramel malt and stuff in
It doesn't seem like an IPA, and it's got Pilsner label right on the bottle, this white label.
Yeah.
If it's an IPA, this is going to score closer to 20 because there's just not any hop aroma and flavor character of this to make it an IPA.
Yeah, it is almost like a watered down, rosé, kind of a little oxidation. But I mean, I'll tell you, if we just try the dry hop version, I think that tastes pretty damn close to Pivo.
I like the dry hop version a lot better.
Yeah, I would have a hard time not paying for this at a bar. I would drink this. The dry hop version is great.
Yeah,
dry hop version is crisper. It finishes more. It's got a much more crisp and Pilsner-like finish. It doesn't have that kind of toasty caramel to the extent that the other one does. Yeah, the dry hop version is much better.
Yeah, I mean,
it's more in the dry version. Like it's a little honey-like kind of malt, a little grainy.
Mm-hmm. Is there a little like Diamet, a little butterscotch, a little bit, tiny little bit?
I'm not getting butterscotch, but a little sulfur, possibly a little DMS.
Yeah, a little buttery.
A little bit is okay.
Yeah, it's totally. I mean, considering it's a Pilsner, I guess it's totally fine. But no, that dry hop version, great beer, man, and it tastes pretty damn close.
Yeah, that's at least 5 points higher, I would think.
It tastes pretty damn close to Pivo.
That's mid. Dry hop version is close mid 30s, minimum. So as far as I can tell, just something happened in the packaging of the non-dry hopped one. Because otherwise, the color wouldn't be so drastically different.
Yeah. If we had known, we would have judged the dry hop one.
Yeah.
We wanted to taste that as an aside.
The comments on the color is what really made me, think that maybe they're mixed up. But if you have the bottles there with the labels on them, I mean, I believe you that you've got the same. For me, holding them up, the only difference is just a slight haze in the dry hop version, and not like a yeast haze or anything like that. Just how you get from an IPAs a lot of times when you dry hop and they just get kind of that haze.
Yeah, we've done 2 different bottles and both of them said Pilsner and they both looked about the same. It's just odd.
Yeah,
I'm going to do the third bottle just because.
Maybe something did happen in the packaging.
Yeah, let's see that. Is this the third bottle of the regular pills?
Yeah, that's all I can imagine is something happened in your process where the.
Oh, this one looks good.
Wow.
This one looks good.
Okay.
And that's the not dry hopped one, Jason.
Correct.
So we have.
No. It looks different in my glass, right?
Yeah.
It's a little darker than the dry hop version, but it's a little lighter than the other 2 bottles. Where I think we're just seeing bottle variation here, and possibly some oxidation in the bottling process.
And it looks more concentrated in the small little 4-ounce tulip glasses.
Yeah, these.
Like I poured it in a pint glass, and it's a lot lighter.
Yeah, so it looks more normal.
If you're gonna do it at home, Brandon, might as well just put it in like a little smaller glass, concentrate a little bit more. But I don't know, man. Do you have any questions in the comments, or some process questions, or anything for the guys?
No, I think you guys pretty much hit it. My real concern was just getting independent feedback. For as much hops as I put in the beer, I just feel like I don't feel like there's as much dry hop there as should be with that many hops. So I was I just wanted to hear, what you guys thought about that. So
I would keep making that dry hop version.
Get Brandon, give us some more details. Tell us, what yeast did you use? What temperature did you ferment at? For how long? Do you temp control your ferment? Give us a little information about that stuff.
It's White Labs WLP 830. This was pitched at 52 degrees. Trying to pull up the fermentation here. It was held at 52 for, I don't know, it looks like roughly 5 or 6 days, raised up to 58 for a diacetyl rest and held there for about a week, and then dropped down to right about 32 or so, and conditioned there.
Should it be warmer for a diacetyl rest?
You can get away with 58. For that long, it's probably going to be fine, yeah.
I guess I will pick nits and say for a lager ferment, you want to go more than 5 days at 52. You want to go for more like a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And then because you most of your fermentation, I'm going to guess, took place at 58. Which is still fine. I didn't get a lot of esters or anything out of this beer, but for a lager ferment, you're going to want to ferment in low 50s for a couple of weeks.
Well, did you check gravity?
You'll jack it up slowly to diacetyl rest for a day or so, and a lot of your diacetyl you'll burn through on the way to the rest.
Yeah. Did you check gravity when you started raising the temperature?
Yeah, I was actually using one of these new hydrometers that go in the ferment. It's called the Tilt. It's one of these wireless deals. So, I raised the temperature whenever it got, I think, like to 1020 or 1018, something around there.
Yeah,
is when I put it up to the 58.
Okay.
And then just, I left it go for a couple of days after after the gravity stopped dropping, before I took it down to the 32.
So what about
what I did there is I just pulled the probe out of the actual fermentation and hang it in the fridge and turn the fridge to 33 and just kind of let the air slowly take the liquid down to match.
What about your bottling technique? What are you using for bottling?
A counter pressure bottle filler out of a keg.
Okay.
So that has probably been in the keg for a few weeks before putting it in the bottle.
Yeah.
So the bottles are purged well, counter pressure filled, and capped immediately on foam.
Man, it sounds like you're doing
that's right. Yeah, and I feel that's what really just kind of strikes me as odd, that there's such a color difference. These are only in shipping for 3 or 4 days. I can't imagine that they would change color that quickly.
No, and for one to do it, not the other.
Another reason why I was thinking, maybe somehow they just got that mixed up with the IPA that was in the same box.
Yeah.
So you bottled the Pivo that wasn't dry hopped. Let's think about the details of this. So the one that wasn't dry hopped, did you bottle at a different time, like a week before the dry hopped one?
No, I literally sat down and just moved the bottler from one keg to the next for all the beers that I sent out to you.
Wow.
Yeah, I think the one we're tasting is not right, and it sounds like you did everything right. It's probably, I don't know.
So you fermented them in 2 separate fermenting vessels then, one that was dry hopped and one that was not.
Absolutely not. No, they were exactly the same beer. They were kegged out of the same batch, a 10-gallon batch and two sixtels, and then the only thing different about the beers is I took one of the it's a stainless steel mesh canister.
Mm-hmm.
I put 6 ounces of dry hops in it, dropped it down in the keg. This is after the keg's already, carbonated and everything. I just opened it up, dropped it in there, filled it back up, and, put it back under pressure and let it set for 5 days.
Well, I guess what I'm trying to understand, that I'm not sure I quite, it's probably my own fault here, I'm not understanding is, so you sent us one that was dry hopped and one that wasn't. So what was the difference in timing between when you bottled the one and not the other? So you took it off the same keg before you dropped that 6 ounces in? Or
he said he split a 10-gallon into 2 fermenters, dry hopped one, and then bottled them on the same day.
So all I can think of, do you ferment? You ferment in carboys or buckets or better bottles or what?
I'm in a Blickman conical, and I guess I should clarify that as well. The beers are both dry hopped in the conical. The one that I have listed as dry hop just has an additional dry hop in the keg.
Okay.
All that I can think of is that maybe there was, maybe the O-ring at the top of the conical or some kind of seal maybe got unsealed at some point during the process for the one that wasn't additionally dry hopped. and maybe let oxygen in during the end of fermentation or after fermentation was complete. That's the only guess. I mean, Brian, what do you think?
That doesn't make sense to me because the third bottle is lighter. The third bottle that we opened is almost as light as the dry hop version. It's just a mystery. I think it's the beer gnomes have intervened with your beer somehow.
Brandon, what kind of capping? What kind of capping device do you use? Is it a bench capper or one of those janky ones that you got to hold on top and use both hands to cap with?
It's the bench capper, I guess you'd call it. Yeah, I mean it's kind of a mixture of plastic and steel. It's nothing great. I don't do much bottling.
And the bottles were clean. Everything.
It seems to work well and seal up. I've never noticed any leaking bottles or anything flat. That I've opened up. It's that's been bottled for any extended period of time.
I mean, we're kind of trying to troubleshoot remotely here through a lot of different little weird stuff. Yeah, that's all I can think of is, it's probably not in the fermenter. Probably something has gone wrong. And these were new bottles you bottled into?
No, they were reused. I think well cleaned though.
PBW.
Hopefully you didn't see any. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's what you do. Well, sounds like you're doing everything right, man.
Yeah, I mean, these are. Yeah, they're bottles. I mean that I would drink and immediately rinse out, and then soak in PBW to get the labels off and whatnot, and then they were stored upside down.
Take a good look at them, because when I did that back in the day, no matter how clean I thought they were, I remember one day pulling them out of the box, and there was like yeast bits on the inside still. Maybe it's just me being slovenly, probably the case, but. You be super careful when you do that. It sounds like your process is right, and maybe the one thing you have to do is always dry hop extra. That's the one that we really like. So dry hop all the time, man.
I did bottle a couple of extras at the same time I did the ones that I sent to you. So I'm gonna take your comments and go back to those bottles and drink from the bottles to see if I can kind of recreate any of this, because I've only drank it out of the keg up until this point.
Those didn't get shipped, but yeah,
check it out.
Who knows? Yeah.
All right, Brandon. Thanks, man. I appreciate it, dude.
Good beer though, especially that dry hop. Thank you so much.
Yep. Thank you.
All right, take it easy, man.
Thanks, man. Bye.
Bye.
Yeah, this is a tough beer to clone. There's not much to hide behind.
No,
it
absolutely
is.
not.
And this is one of the tougher conundrums we've had on this show, is trying to figure out what's the difference in these two beers when they're so similar and handled so similarly, and yet they show so differently here in the glass.
That's right. All right, everybody, we're going to take a quick break real fast here on Dr. Homebrew, and we're going to come right back, and we're going to talk to, I believe, Will with American Pale Ale, right, Brandon?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, this is Dr. Homebrew. We'll be right back.
Now, back to the examination.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for sticking around here. It's Dr. Homebrew. You know the dudes. Trying to get
an alter ego show called Dr. Commercial Brew. That would be kind of fun.
Oh, that'd be great. I would love that. I would love that very much, as a matter of fact. Let's get Will on the line here. We're going to talk about his pale ale. And
probably make more
I'm excited
money
about it.
with commercial brew, like telling commercial brewers how to make their beer better.
Now, that'd be a pretty good show. We need to pitch that to Justin at some point, right?
Why is Will not online? Will, what's going on, dude?
Brian and I will speak among ourselves while we're getting Will online.
We were just emailing with him a second ago. I think he's there. He'll come through.
Maybe he's like that Will from Stranger Things that got sucked into that alternate dimension with that Demigorgon.
I wonder how much you had to pay that Demigorgon to get sucked that hard into.
Oh man, I'm excited because we're like a month or two away from season 3 of Stranger Things. I don't know about you guys. I'm really excited. That's going to be really cool.
Yeah, Stranger Things 3 when boners hit in science class.
They are going to be about that age.
That's
oh man.
Let me tell you, that's a strange. Oh
my God,
thing.
what's happening to me right now?
We're going in the upside down right now.
What is this thing? Oh my God.
Pee in my face. I'll be upside down. Will, are you there?
Hey,
Hey, what's going on?
Hey,
man?
how's it going?
Good. How you doing?
Oh, not too bad. Not too bad. I'm not sure what's going on with Skype.
That's all right. Don't worry about it. Happens all the time, man. So
You didn't pay your Skype bill this month.
That's right. That's right. So we have a pale ale here to go over with you, right?
An American pale ale.
American pale ale. Have you? I'm assuming you've brewed a pale ale before, right?
Yeah, I think so. Probably.
Okay. All right. Do we have any glasses for this beer, fellas,
We do.
or are we glassless?
There's glasses.
A couple right here, right?
All right, but we have 2 glasses and we have 4 people in the room.
A
So
little bit
how
more.
can we
I can
fix
rinse the
this
glass.
problem? If only we had producers on the show, Will. I apologize that we're wasting your time because we're not ready and prepared.
Oh, man. I'm just going to rinse the glass.
I apologize
Will,
about
where are you
that.
calling in from?
Central Illinois.
Nice. Do you belong to a homebrew club?
Yeah, the Homebrewers of Peoria.
Nice. So, Hop, H-O-P.
Yep.
Yep, every homebrew club is a pun, and I know that drives Jason crazy, but I kind of like that.
Yeah, puns are cool, dude.
And I'm old and I'm a dad, so I like this whole. I like the dad puns. What can I say?
Excuse me.
No, Brian is allergic to not having glasses in the studio. I'll tell you that. Yeah.
I'm allergic to hops.
All right, Brian Shar, since we've already judged this, you want to go for it?
Yes, I would love to.
Yeah.
So, let's see, for the aroma, my initial impression is sort of medium hop aroma. It's definitely fruity, not quite citrus. I get more like a little more estery type, maybe more like a blueberry, not quite mosaic blueberry, but not super citrus. There's a low malt. Identify maybe like a 2-row, no diacetyl. The fruit. What's interesting about the hops, the aroma of this beer is that the hop aroma, it gets awfully close to what would be a traditional kind of ester profile that I think of as fruit salad, but it's not. To me, it's not an ester; it's the hop character. So I definitely liked that. But still, the hop aroma is at a low level, definitely a little lower than I would expect for an American pale ale. And maybe it's because it's 2019 and everything in an American pale ale just keeps getting bigger aside from perhaps the alcohol and the bitterness. So I gave this 6 out of 12 for aroma.
We need a hot tub time machine.
Well, let's get to work on that after the show. What do you say?
That's true.
So appearance 3 out of 3, extremely clear. You could essentially read through this beer. Very slight haze. I probably should have docked you 3 points for it not being hazy, but not everything has to be hazy in 2019. This is clear like it's supposed to be, and a slight haze from hop bitterness or dry hopping is definitely acceptable. It's the head is large and persistent. Color's light gold, but appearance is great. Flavor. Initially, the impression for me was malty, followed by a ramp up in bitterness to about medium high. The hop flavor was lower than I expected. I got kind of hop flavor at a low level that was fruity, kind of a plum, stone fruit, peach sort of a flavor. But I think primarily sort of I consider that a plum flavor. Very well attenuated. Good job on that. Balances toward the bitter. Finish is long and bitter in a pleasant way. Definitely lower hop flavor than I would have expected. Did get in the finish sort of a low cardboard oxidation that I didn't get in the aroma. So I gave this 10 out of 20 for flavor. Mouthfeel, I got a slight slickness, but no diacetyl flavor. So that's something I noted in mouthfeel rather than flavor, just a slight slickness. It could be just because this beer is wet. I don't know about your wetness factor. We can talk about wetness factor later on. That's a joke. But and God, no one is laughing at my wetness factor thing one bit, you guys.
Sorry.
Jeez, it's like I'm talking into the void of Podland or the pod waves here.
It's true.
The listeners are laughing hysterically.
Everyone in their individual
wetness
pods.
factor is a little, maybe a little creepier. Than you want to hear from the podcaster.
That's the if you go back and listen to the session from like 7 or 8 years ago, there was a lot of joking about the wetness factor of a given beer.
That's a big Sully joke, yeah.
Yeah, it was definitely a Sully thing. In fact, if you go get like a blah 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 EPA 6-pack, the wetness factor is listed on the 6-pack box.
Oh, nice.
I'm probably the only person in the world that's ever noticed that aside from Sully. So it's a shout out to Sully there. No warming. It's really more perky than creamy. The mouthfeel is great, 5 out of 5. Overall impression, I really like this beer, and I would happily have a full pint of this. I think it's quite good. But it's not quite in line with style. Target Eye, I think this beer is simultaneously a little bit too bitter without enough hop aroma and flavor. Target IBUs for this style are 30 to 50. The bitterness in this, for me, comes across as maybe even higher than 50. I get really high bitterness out of this beer. And then a pale ale, kind of the difference to me between a pale ale and an IPA is that an IPA has like a shit ton of bitterness as well as hop aroma and flavor. The pale ale has the malt, and this beer certainly has some malt character still, but it also needs to have a lot of hop flavor and hop aroma. And this also differentiates from the session IPA, which is hop water, and you have like no malt and hop aroma and flavor and kind of low bitterness. So the malt part of this, I think, really succeeds. I think it's a little lacking in the hop aroma and the hop flavor. So for me, I would back off on the early hops, those bittering hops, maybe 25, 30%. Bump up those later hops at flame out or slightly before flame out for flavor and aroma. Bump those up, 30, 40%. Just redistribute where your hops are, and I think this will end up being a really good beer. I mean, the fact that it's so well attenuated tells me your fermentation. There's no fermentation flaws in this that I'm getting.
Right.
So your fermentation basics are really good. All you've really got here, to me, is kind of a recipe issue of shifting your hops around, and this is going to be a really spectacular APA. So overall, I gave this 29 out of 50. I think it was good, and I'm going to continue to drink the rest of my sample while Brian gives you his opinion from the Cooper side.
Awesome.
All right, yeah.
Hanging with Mr. Cooper.
Yeah, so good hiss upon opening it, and the fill seemed okay on the bottle. Aroma-wise, had a pleasant kind of medium light citrusy and a faint kind of resiny hop note in there. There's some low bready kind of, not really toasty, but like a little more than bready, just crackery and maybe a faint hint of some bread crust in there or something that keeps the malt, up there and a little more interesting. But it's maybe poking through a little more than I'd want. And the hops are definitely, I agree, a little bit light in the nose. Medium fruity esters, just kind of general, fruity esters. Some of that also, like you said, coming from the hops, probably. Again, clean, no DMS or diacetyl. Not getting obvious alcohol here, as it shouldn't really have anything crazy poking through there. Seems cleanly fermented, but just kind of low overall to me. Like it's there. It's a beer, and it's malty and a little hoppy, and it smells more like the classic APA. So yes, we are going to travel back once we get that hot tub time machine. We're going to travel back 20 years.
Right.
To the 1990s and taste it next to some real classic stuff.
That's what a time machine sounds like. That
It's the
thing,
like the Wayne's World sound.
Exactly.
Yeah. Appearance-wise, a pale golden-colored beer. Had a long-lasting, low white head, very fine bubbles, and great clarity. So, pretty nice-looking beer. Flavor-wise, I'd say pleasantly, kind of lightly caramelly and grainy, toasty malt in there. To me, the bitterness was not super high. I would say medium-low bitterness myself. Pretty much out of the way, just kind of supporting the hop flavor, not really poking out too harshly. The hop flavor is citrusy and a little grapefruity, a little lime, a little, along the lines of the classic thing, citrus and a light resin. Ale ferment seems pretty clean. Again, the hops are kind of generally low, but it's, no alcohol was noted. The balance is just slightly towards the hops, but again, there's a fair amount of malt there supporting that. It did finish dry. It seems nicely attenuated. The hops do linger in the aftertaste just a little bit. It's not a malt bomb by any stretch of the imagination. So, mouthfeel wise, it's medium light body, medium carbonation. Didn't get any alcohol warmth. not very creamy, but also no obvious astringency. Still all the same. It's a fairly smooth beer and refreshing. You know, it's nice. It's easy to drink. Nothing too sharp or offensive here. It's just kind of, you know, a little maybe not biting or in your face or sharp or super hoppy, but you know, it refreshes and it makes you want another sip. Very pleasant American pale ale, I would say. It is a little more along the lines of a classic. I would, especially for modern tastes, really like a little more hop in that finish. And you know, right now it's just almost even with the maltiness, which is pleasant and inviting, but it's not quite to style. And it could be maybe it's a slightly aged version that was really good 4 months ago, and now it's past its prime a little bit. I'm suspecting that might be the case, but you know, your water treatment seems good. Your ale fermentation is cleanly made. Nice job overall. So I gave it a 33. I thought it was a very good beer, and generally within the style parameter, just a little light. So, but thanks for sharing it. Very good, and
not bad.
Yeah, we've spoken with you before. You were the ginger hibiscus blonde guy. We had some fun with that one. I remember.
Oh, he was the ginger hibiscus guy.
Remember?
Oh, yes, I remember. How could you forget that one?
Pretty good. Hey, Will, do me a favor, man. Let's run through your recipe for this pale ale, would you?
Yeah. So in terms of malt, 11 pounds of pale ale, 2 pounds of wheat, a pound of Munich 10, half an ounce of Apollo at 60, an ounce of Centennial, and an ounce of Idaho Gem at 15, ounce and a half of Centennial, and an ounce of Idaho Gem at 5. 2 ounces of Centennial for the dry hop, and half an ounce of Idaho Gem, and pitched the Voss Quebec yeast and fermented at 96 degrees.
Quebec yeast, okay.
Okay.
That's the twist.
There's a little twist.
When did you brew this?
So I brewed it February 1st, and then I bottled at the end of February.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wonder, Brian, because my familiarity with the Quebec yeast is about 0. Because that's a lot of hops. I mean, you put a lot of hops in at the end, and my recommendation is put more hops in at the end. You put a lot of hops in at the end.
Yeah, it sounds like.
I wonder if the fermentation temperature drove off the aroma and flavor hop components otherwise might stay in, because that's 96. That's way up there.
That's you can use the Quebec at that kind of temperature.
Well, certainly, and it will attenuate. But what does that do to the hop character?
I think it probably is pulling away from it and giving you a little more fruitiness in the mix there, and kind of accenting the maltiness and pulling away from the hop. Maybe, like you say, just temperature wise, some of the more volatile aromatics are being driven off by that high ferment temp.
Yeah, I got to believe the vigor of the ferment at that temperature and that temperature itself, because you want the point of the dry hopping and the aroma hopping and the flavor hopping, you're putting it in the end so the boil, which is high temperature, doesn't drive those volatile compounds off. And you're getting up then to almost 100, which is getting to be almost half of your boil temperature. I can't believe that's not going to have an effect on the hop flavor and aroma, which is kind of, I think, what happened in this beer.
Yeah, I mean, think about a Belgian-style IPA versus an American IPA. When you just use that Belgian yeast, same beer, same everything, it you know, the yeast takes over, and the yeast character starts to fight with the malt and the hops that are there and pull away from your perception of the hops that are there. And they're still there. It's not, I don't think that Belgian yeast is scrubbing it away unless you do something really crazy. But yeah, the yeast affects everything, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's a really good point, Brian. And I think a lot of the Belgian IPAs, to me, didn't work when that was a thing, in part because the yeast flavor was competing with the hop flavor, but part of it was maybe the temperature. And I'm not getting the yeast flavor competing with the hop flavor here. What I'm kind of getting is less hop flavor and less hop aroma.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah, the yeast fermented things cleanly. It's it did its job. It got it nice and dry, as an American pale ale should be. But it did something to the hops there.
Yeah.
Do you get the same thing, kind of, Will? What do you think?
Yeah, that's kind of why I sent it in to you guys, is just I think even 2 months ago or whatever, I just didn't quite have as much hop character as I was really hoping for or looking for.
And you dry hopped it too? Did you try to bring it up even more after you tasted it?
I dry hopped it, but I usually do a dry hop at pitch to avoid adding oxygen.
Yeah.
But it sounds like maybe I need to switch to maybe a keg hop or
yeah, you can
something.
go back and keg hop this.
Sure, why not?
Will, I haven't
Everyone
heard
likes a
of
dry hop, dude.
I haven't heard of Idaho Gem. I've heard of Idaho 7. Is Idaho Gem like a related hop from like Pacific Northwest or something?
He owns the gas station at the far side of town.
Idaho Gem, yeah.
I'm not sure. It's I think it's a Yakima varietal that came out in the last few years.
Okay, I'll look that up on Yakima, the website.
It's supposed to be kind of like a tropical fruit, a little bit of citrus to it, that kind of thing.
Interesting.
Awesome.
It was definitely fruit forward, I think.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Hop character was nice.
Definitely comes through.
And you like that Centennial? I like Centennial, too. That's a good classic one.
Absolutely. Will, do you have any questions for the guys? Otherwise, we'll let you go.
No, thanks, man.
Okay, cool. Thanks a lot, man.
Sir. Yeah,
See you, man.
Thanks for coming on again.
Yeah. I always like the old repeat customers here on the clinic, I guess. You know, we can call it the clinic.
Sometimes a shot of beer penicillin takes care of the problem. Sometimes you got to come back.
That's true. All right, everybody, we're going to take a real quick break. We're going to come back, and then we're going to leave again. So hold on. Don't go anywhere. You're not going to want to miss this. It's Dr. Homebrew.
Hello, fellow BNers. This is Sully from the 21st Amendment Brewery located in San Francisco, just 2 blocks from Giants Park. Before Nico and I opened the 21A and before I was a professional brewer, I homebrewed on my small 4-burner apartment stove in a back house in Santa Monica, California, making my extract brews before graduating to the daunting idea of all-grain brewing. Homebrew books and information was hard to come by back then. The internet hadn't been invented yet, along with other things we take for granted today, like electricity and potable water. One thing I wish I had back then when I was learning was a radio show that could teach me the ins and outs of brewing and answer questions that I had about homebrewing, a resource for making great craft beer. The 21st Amendment Brewery is excited to be a proud sponsor of Dr. Homebrew, a great show that teaches you what you need to know about making incredible beer. Good stuff. Listen up, you might learn something. I certainly did. And thanks for your support. Tasty Crack Kings.
The leader in affordable, high-quality kegerators is here. Introducing Komos, the kegerator designed with serious beer drinkers in mind. It features an all-stainless steel draft tower, a major upgrade over traditional chrome-plated brass towers, and Komos keeps your new tower cold with their air-cooled tower fan, wrapping your beer lines in frigid coolness. Your beer is poured from innovative forward-sealing faucets that don't leak, so they stay cleaner for longer. Dual gas inlets on the rear of the fridge allow you to run both CO2 and nitrogen gas. Serve your beer with CO2, serve your kegged wine, or even cocktails with nitrogen. The digital temperature display has the largest range available, allowing you to use the Komos Kegerator for fermentation if you need to. And now Komos Kegerators ship with duo-tight draft fittings for that click-to-connect assembly we've all dreamed of. Buy direct from KomosDraft.com and receive free shipping on your order. That's KOMOS Draft.com.
I'm sorry to tell you this, but we're going to have to pour you out.
Back to Dr. Homebrew.
Hey, thanks for, not leaving, everybody. This is the most important part of the show, where we end the show. It's my favorite part of the show.
We wrap it up.
We wrap it up, and I come alive once we're not doing the show. And then we do it again, and then I just...
and we decide who gets an autographed picture of Brian and I.
That's true. That's true.
That's right. We each autograph each other's photos and kind of scotch tape them together. It's really kind of cool. You
We're
should check
always
it out.
autographing each other's photos.
So just a real quick recap. I think we'll just do that. The Pivo Pils clone had a little oxidation issue, probably color changed, which was kind of odd. But the beer was good. The dry hop version was not that.
Yeah.
And it tasted really good.
I wish we had judged that one. That was good. Yeah. So
That was 5, 6, 7 points higher than the rosé color one.
Yeah, and I wish that we could pinpoint what happened so we can tell you what not to do, because that's sort of the point of the show, right? Is to learn from other people's mistakes.
It's a
we
puzzler.
haven't taught. There's been no learning experience here today, hardly at all.
No, none at all. And then, of course, Will's Pale Ale.
We learned a little bit there.
We did.
We learned about Quebec yeast
and fermentation temperature.
And it amazes me how high you can ferment those. And
I know, right?
They taste just fine.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Weird. Those crazy Norwegians.
Speaking of crazy things that you can hold in your hand, like Norwegians, I imagine, are very tiny people. I don't know. The Smart Brew water testing kit incorporates a revolutionary photometer system, which is the first and only one on the market with its own app. It's the only meter that runs water tests with no math needed. You have the ability to test for over 40 different water quality tests. 4, of course, come preloaded because it's useless if it doesn't have any tests on it when you get it, right? Come on. So you get 4 already, and you can buy more. You can test for stuff like total alkalinity, chloride, calcium hardness, pH, sulfate, and more with only 4 mils of water needed for each test. Visit smartbrewkit.com, enter code TBN10 at checkout, and you can save $10 on either the standard or advanced Smart Brew testing kit.
Those kits are pretty cool.
I really like them, man. For sure.
I love that thing. I have that at home. It's great.
You know exactly where your water's at.
I got to get mine back. We have a Dr. Homebrew company one.
I think Beardy has it.
No, I know exactly who has it. I gave it to the Rare Barrel guys, and then one of their brewers left to go work at another brewery and took it.
So Jay's playing around with it over there.
No, someone left and took it.
Oh, no.
So I'm trying to work with Jay to get it back from this unnamed brewer called Mike.
So it's nice for me because I'm in the East Bay now, so instead of that Peninsula hetchy, always super soft water, got East Bay mud, so that means you gotta check it out.
I'm literally playing Brian out.
Yeah, play me out, man.
All right, everybody, thanks a lot. This is Dr. Homebrew. Oh, there we go. Yeah, happy 6th anniversary, Brian.
Where's my anniversary present, JP?
I don't know. Let me finish my goddamn sentence. This is Dr. Homebrew, everybody. Thanks a lot for tuning in. If you are listening live, Nate, hang on. We'll be back in about 10 minutes. We got some more beers. Happy 6th anniversary to us, Brian.
Well, yes.
What do you think?
You're welcome.
Yeah. Well, thank you. All right, everybody. Thanks a lot. This has been Dr. Homebrew, and you've been great.